And a special good evening to you. My name is Nazim Ishmael, and my co-host, that is Mr. Richard Jagesa, will be here shortly. So I am just kicking off the program. So tonight we will have a more or less packed program with a lot of current issues. We will also have someone we will be calling on the phone, so we'll have a live interview. That will happen between 15:15 and 20:15. So stay tuned. We have a very important topic we will be discussing. So without further ado, I think we will go right into the program and we will start with the videos, Justin. Let's start with the one with the flood in the west. No, this one. All right, we'll stay with this one. Now, there is a lot of paving taking place all over Trinidad and Tobago now. All over. I don't know where the government gets any money now. But this hole, these holes you're seeing here, is at the health center in St. Joseph. In Mount Hope, sorry. In Mount Hope. The health center at Mount Hope. And that has been there for over 1 year. And watch the condition of that. When you swing in that gate, those holes, and it's getting larger by the day. So Mr. Terence Yalsing, instead of you're asking Rohan to pave roads that don't need paving, pave the road in those potholes at the Mount Hope health facility, please. Because if a pregnant woman comes for a checkup there, she might make the baby one time. So do something about it, please. And all you fix the road properly. There are roads that are being paved that don't really need paving. Like, for instance, in Trin City, the Dinsley Road, that whole road didn't need paving. That road was in pretty good condition. It had some potholes that could have been patched in a proper manner, and monies could have been utilized in another area where the road is in a deplorable condition. I see they paved Bellsmith Street in Kirep, the whole of Bellsmith Street, white lines and all. That means election coming pretty soon. So people, all you watch, just watch. Where did the government get the money all of a sudden to start paving road and had you suffering your cars, your ball joint, your tires, your rims, everything damaging? They find money now because election is right around the corner. So think if these people come back in power, what's going to happen after? It's the same old, same old. So you know what all you're doing, please. Let's go to the next slide. All right. This one in the west. This is a perennial problem. And this problem will never be solved. I used to work in the Port of Spain area, Maraval area. And that river, when that river coming down from Mocha, there is nothing stopping that water from overflowing its banks because the river is so narrow. It cannot be dredged. Or I shouldn't say it cannot be dredged. Certain portions could be dredged because it have other areas that the base of the river, it has concrete in it. So this problem will never be solved because there are no river, how should I say? There is nothing to widen the river because houses are on just the edge of the river. So if these people get flood, I don't know who's going to take blame for that because the corporation, the tongue and country have to see about that. So flooding will always happen in Maraval, always, and St. Anne's. St. Anne's have the same problem. So people, all you just pray that all you ain't get too much rain again in that area, please. All right, Justin, what we have again? All right, this one. This one is a very sore point that has been... Hey, my host is here at present. Mr. Jagasa, good night, sir.
Good night, everyone.
So this one, I'm sure you're familiar with this one with the US, where they are saying that if you have family visiting any family and they have US, I guess it might be any currency, you cannot purchase it from them because you'll be breaking the law. So if my family have US and I buying it from them for say $7, they say they already will give me $7. You want them to go in the bank and pay $6 and something. I think the bank does offer you for cash. So and I want US to use, and it's legal US. It's illegal US. It's not no scam that they bring the US into the country. They might bring out a 400 or 500 cash, and they might use a credit card. What is stopping me from buying that US? I don't understand that. And there are shops and stores all over that has signs on their glass cases stating, we buy US, and they put in the amount they're buying it for. How come nothing is done about that? What is really going on? Mr. Jagesa, what you have to say about that?
You know, I saw a post on social media, and I deemed it to be funny. It's by this popular social media blogger, Kiran Singh, I think is his name. He said the 1% could marry their cousins, but we can't buy foreign exchange from family. You know, it just shows the disparity, the disconnect between those in power, those that hold that certain degree of power, and the rest of us. You know who else is somebody who forgets their role in society? The Commissioner of Police. The great COP, Commissioner of Police, Erla Harewood Christopher. You know, she became Commissioner of Police at the age of 59, when most of us looking to retire. She became the highest ranking police officer in early 2023. And since then, actually, before I say that, I believe it was during the debate for her appointment, MP for Oropouche East, Munilal, said she has no experience in crime fighting on the ground level. And she has proven that to be true. Failure at all levels, ground up. She's a success in that category. And since she has taken office, there has been an increase, a steady increase in crime, in serious, grievous crime in this country. Murder spiked, increased. House breaking and entering, spiked, increase. Extortion, spike, increase. Kidnapping for ransom, spike, increase. We live in a world now where we are prisoners in our own home, while the criminal element runs rampant and free in the society because of the failures of the Commissioner of Police. You know, as extortion becomes more and more in the forefront of the public's mind, we see that it is the failures of the police that cause criminals to run free. Last week, 7 persons accused of extortion. I say persons, and now we're going into persons. 7 police officers. 7 police officers charged with extortion were set free because of failure of the TTPS officers to comply with court directions. Failure on the part of the TTPS to complete the simplest of tasks, appearing in court. And you know what's embarrassing about the entire thing? Obscene about the entire thing? Yes, and cops nabbed in extortion, saying this is another extortion issue. Police seem to be getting caught red-handed in extortion more than anything else in the country under this Commissioner of Police. So you know what they did? They relayed the charges.
Is it because of public pressure?
It could be because of public pressure. It could be just to say, well, listen, we did something. But let me ask you this. What have we done to sanction? What have we done to punish? What punitive measures have we put in place to deal with the officers who fail to comply with those court directions to begin with?
Nothing.
Is it that those very officers, remember it's officer charging officer, eh?
Right.
Is brother charging brother there? Is partner charging partner? Eh?
Batch charging batch.
Batch charging batch. And if you don't go to court, if the boys and them get set free, nothing wrong with that. They get, why? Why is that so? Is it because those officers knew that no harm will come to them? Their job not at risk? Their safety not at risk like yours and mine? Their pockets not at risk? They don't lose any pay? Is it that the officers knew that charge could come and go, I don't care, I'm not going to court? And now they want to relay the charges, as you correctly pointed out, because of public pressure. They want to relay the charges and fool the people. The charges will just run and run and run again, and the same thing will happen.
They might reach retirement age.
And you're absolutely correct. And while we relay charges, while we are forced to have a do-over on something that was supposed to be dealt with already, we have people sitting in prison without any bail. We have people who sitting in prison waiting 10 years, 15 years, 20 years for the matter to come to trial. It's real figures are given you there, you know. We have persons legitimately waiting for their court date while they have officers playing smart with foolishness on this side under Erla Edward Christopher, Commissioner of Police. There is a clear imbalance. It is ridiculousness, obscene ridiculousness, and nonsense, a total failure, an absolute failure on the part of the TTPS.
But not only the TTPS. Check the failures we have as National Security Minister and the Junior Minister.
Oh, exactly so. And what are we doing about all of this? Is it that we need international assistance? Is it that we need international help to come and deal with this issue? Is it the same way we needed international help to deal with the foreign exchange issue?
Right.
Is it that we need international assistance, a hand, to come in this country and tell the TTPS what to do? Tell the ministers of national security what to do? The multi-ministerial gentleman who sits on the National Security Council, tell him what to do?
Just in the picture we have with Heinz with the drone. Watch this.
Yeah, he got a toy.
He probably saying in his mind, I wonder if this thing could fly, boy, and take out videos and pictures, because this probably the first one we have in the country.
Yeah, he got
What
toy.
are we getting on?
That's looking like the blimp the PNM was looking for.
Like, is the first time he's seen a drone?
Yeah.
Watch at that. Boy, he's the greatest. He's the greatest. I don't know what else they have to do with this man, you know.
And you know, while we are forced to have a do-over in this matter, the serious criminal matter, 7 police officers charged with extortion. Right? Matter was in court for quite some time. While we are forced to have a do-over, there are persons sitting and waiting for their matter to be heard and no bail for them. And the truth is, the judicial system is well equipped, is equipped enough to have 24 hours of court. Eh? Yes. We are well equipped to have 24 hours of court, and night court, specialist court, gun court, bail court, and so on. Courts dealing solely with sexual offenses. I think there are senior lawyers who can be elevated to judges, senior attorneys who can be elevated to magistrates, and so on. And we can properly staff these entities, staff these specialist courts, and have 24 hours of court, much like they do in other developed countries, in countries that are serious about justice in a timely manner. And if we do that, If we do that, we can clear up the overburdened prison service. We can clear up the overburdened criminal justice system. And if we do that, we, the stakeholders to the criminal justice system, we, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, can have justice quickly. We, and I say quickly, not quicker, because we don't get it quick now. And that is the truth of it. And there are persons who are waiting to get bail. What is the problem? There are persons who are waiting to get bail, and there is no reasonable excuse why they cannot get bail on certain conditions and terms and so on. And one such term and condition of your bail is the ankle bracelets,
Right.
which I know we will discuss at great length this evening. I believe we have senior attorney at the bar ready for that call.
Yes, we
All
do.
right. So
I don't know if you want to take a break and when we come back, we...
of course,
call them.
Justin, can we make that connection? We'll go to the break and we can jump straight into that call. Deal with it straight on, man.
Yes, straight on.
Straight
Head
on.
The power. To shatter the strongest. Conquer the indestructible with Ronex collection of angle grinders. Ronix premium quality.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors, and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose, and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canoopia. Shiklisho Limited. Quality you can trust.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems, and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
For the everyday lowest prices on all grocery items, trust Low Cost Supermarket for the widest variety of quality products at low prices. Freshly picked fruits and vegetables, healthy products for your well-being, high quality meat cuts, and a warm and friendly service. Low Cost Supermarket, Southern Main Road, Canoopia.
Yes, good night, everyone. Welcome back to Breaking Barriers. I'm your co-host, Richard Jagasa, attorney at law, and this is Uncle Nazim, Injan Ishmael's brother. We were just talking about the failures of the TTPS. We were just addressing some serious concerns about whether or not that Commissioner of Police, who is nearing her 2-year anniversary, her 1-year anniversary.
No, 1 year.
Her 1-year anniversary in her position, and whether or not whether or not she has been making us, the citizens, feel safer. You know, with the increase in murder, I know the murder toll now is higher than the murder toll last year.
It's 569, I think, up to last night, but I think somebody got murdered, so it could be up higher than that.
Yeah.
Could be 570, 71.
Yeah, and a recent study came out and said that we have an 8% detection rate of murders in this country. Abysmal, absolutely abysmal.
And no one is being held accountable.
And no one, for that failure, imagine that, for a systemic failure in our criminal justice system, such as the inability to detect the most criminal of offenses, the most heinous crime, the most grievous criminal offense as murder, we have an 8% detection rate. That is abysmal. That is obscene. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely something that we as citizens cannot stand for. And at the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves whether that kind of person is entitled to an increase in pay.
Correct.
We have to ask ourselves if persons like that, repeated failures, are entitled to an increase in pay. And yeah, and can we get I sent you all an article. I sent you an article regarding the SRC's, there we go.
Before you make your point, Richard, someone called me during the week, and I think they got their information wrong when you were speaking about the ministers.
Yes.
Getting the $3,000.
Yeah, it's right on his side there. We'll get to that in a minute.
So, in case the caller is listening, he will see exactly what happening.
Yeah, no problem. So as we all recall from last week, I said last year, from last week, there's a recent SRC report which recommends salary increases for all of these public officials. Look at this long, long list. Look at this list. To the top, we have Prime Minister moving from 59,000 and change, 59,680 to $87,847.
Plus perks.
Plus perks. The president moving from 64,270 to 81,170, and so on. The opposition leader, I believe that was what the point the caller wanted to make, moves from 29,000, am I getting that correct?
590.
29,590 to 50,159. Now, she, of course, says, the opposition leader says, she is not accepting it, but we'll get to that in a minute. And there's a long list of individuals. Let's just scroll down quickly. Magistrates, Police Complaints Authority Director, and so on, senior magistrates, deputy chief magistrate, members of parliament, there we go. 17,000 and change. 17,000 and change goes to $22,000. Just a minuscule increase. I think that's what the caller last time was a bit confused about. Cabinet members goes from 41,000 to 52. Non-cabinet members goes from 33,000 to 43,000 and change, and so on. So at the end of the day, these are some of the, I only point out a few. I can't go through all. These are some of the increases. And can we get the other clip? Actually, no. Can we zoom out a bit?
PCA director.
Yes. And now I want to get into the back pay. So the back pay for the Prime Minister will be 1.1 million if accepted. Almost $500,000, well, over $500,000 for the, there we go, okay. So over $500,000 for the, over $500,000 for the president. And these are just some of the individuals. These are some of the persons, you can come back to me, guys. These are some of the persons who are expected to get a pay increase. The one I want to focus on tonight is the Commissioner of Police. We've just went through a long list of her failures. We've just went through how she's failed the criminal justice system. And I made mention of certain individuals who are waiting for their day in court. persons who cannot access bail. And we mentioned some of the bail conditions. One such condition, which I read about in the papers this week, is the implementation of ankle bracelets. And the senior attorney at the bar, Mr. Jagdev Singh, who was commenting on that, is now on the line and wishes to join us. Correct, Uncle Nazim?
Correct.
Introduce him.
Good evening, Mr. Singh.
Good evening, good evening.
How are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
All right. Well, let's kick straight into it. Now, you, was it at a town meeting or that you made these remarks about the ankle bracelets?
It was at a town meeting, yes.
All right. Now, there are a lot of pros and cons for the bracelets, but with your research, like the bracelets, are there disadvantages of using the bracelet, like in the instance of Wi-Fi problems and all that?
No, I don't think so. The bracelets are all outfitted with GPS tracking devices. I think when you contract the service provider, I think there's a dedicated satellite for that. So the issue is not so much Wi-Fi, it's that you have to buy the proper equipment and contract the proper service provider. Look, the Federal Bureau of Investigations has the most extensive, and for sure the FBI has the most extensive electronic monitoring system in the world. In the UK, it's the same thing. And they monitor prisoners with electronic bracelets throughout continental United States. So it can be done. It's done all over the world. It's done in Europe. So it's not so much a Wi-Fi issue as much as it is, I think, my understanding of the technology is that the GPS is connected by way of satellite, and it allows you to track the person.
But
the wearer of the bracelet.
Based on our police service, can someone interfere or
No, how it works is that if you start to interfere with the bracelet, it sends an alarm right away. Now, the consequence for that is interfering with the bracelet ought to be a criminal offense, so you could be arrested for that. And if you attempt to interfere with the bracelet, it should result immediately in the revocation of the bail.
Correct.
So that's how it should work. So it is a deterrent for anyone who is outfitted with a bracelet to attempt to remove it or to interfere with it.
So what you're saying is if they interfere with the bracelet, it is a criminal charge?
It should be. It should be. Under the electronic monitoring, it is a criminal charge to interfere with the bracelet, to attempt to remove it.
All right. So, like in the instance of people that we have incarcerated now, right? What category of workers, prisoners that is, sorry, do you think should be outfitted with this, providing they get bail?
All persons charged for offenses of violence, all persons charged for serious offenses, narcotics, firearm offenses, and offenses of that kind.
All right. Mr. Singh, you have anything to add?
Yeah, Mr. Singh, hi, good night. So,
yeah, Richard.
hi. So I think we want to make a few points clear. The legislative framework now exists for ankle bracelets, yes?
It does, yes.
And there is a failure or a neglect on the part of the administrative arm of the police to properly implement and monitor those things at a...
Well, I don't think it's quite so much, it's quite such a black and white issue, okay? Even though the legislative framework exists, they first have to be part of the bail conditions. If the police are not applying to put the wearing of an electronic bracelet on a person as part of his bail conditions, then you don't have the power to just simply put a bracelet on the person. So what has to happen, in my respectful view, is that all new offenses, the police have to regularly equip themselves to be able to put the framework in place to put the bracelet on. But everyone who is now charged for an offense, it should regularly and routinely be part of your bail conditions that you wear an ankle bracelet. Also, persons who are currently on bail for those types of offences, the police should make an application to the court to amend the terms of the bail and have them put ankle bracelets on. It's not a impossible task to do. It just requires some resolve, and it requires the devotion of some resources.
Yes, and the police will have real-time information about where real-time information. So, for example, if someone wearing, an accused person that is wearing an ankle bracelet and is associating with another person who's wearing an ankle bracelet, that immediately is a breach of another bail condition.
It is.
And if we have multiple persons gathered in the same place with ankle bracelets, that can form part of police officers can respond to that in real time, because it's real time live feed information.
Live information. You know exactly where they are. You don't need you don't need a human informant to tell you who is where, because the ankle bracelet tells you exactly how many people are there, who the people are, because each bracelet has a special code that tells you who's wearing it.
There we go.
So 50 known gangsters are made to wear ankle bracelets, and 15 of them gathering in one spot. The police know what's happening there. It's very likely that there's a meeting of criminals.
And if the police move on that kind of structured, reasonable information and revoke the bail of those individuals, remove them from the streets, that makes the country safer.
Of course it does. In any event, Richard, can you imagine someone wearing an ankle bracelet and going out on the street to commit a robbery, a carjacking, a home invasion? No, the police will know, hey, listen, Mr. Man, you were at so-and-so and so when so-and-so happened. What were you doing there? No one who's wearing an ankle bracelet and could be tracked by the police is going to even be tempted to commit any crime. The deterrent factor is so high, and the risk of getting caught is so great, that is an immediate deterrent.
So it makes it less likely that recurrent offenders out on bail with that particular condition will continue to be recurrent offenders.
Will continue to commit crime.
There we go. And it's such an easy implementation. As we've agreed, the legislative framework is there and just requires...
It's there. It requires the devotion of some resources.
Yes.
And requires a will to do it.
And a will to do it. There we go. And anything else you want to add?
But do you know offhand what the cost of one of the bracelets?
I have no idea what the cost is, but I tell you what the cost is for society as a whole.
Right.
Yes, and you can't put a price on life.
575. You can't put a price on a human life, Naz. You can't.
Well,
especially tell that to the families of the 575 murder victims we have right now in this country. The victims of kidnappings, the trauma of home invasions. Imagine people, mothers and women going to pharmacies, and they come out to their cars and they're immediately confronted and their cars are taken from them.
Yeah, people can't even go to mini marts, grocery shopping.
What is the price you pay for that? Groceries are afraid to open. Gas stations, food businesses don't open late in the night anymore. Yeah. The country is locked in the grip of crime.
Yes.
It presents a clear and present danger to society and life as we know it in Trinidad and Tobago, and it requires the resolve, the will, and the resources to take this country back. And it's the only way, it's the shortest solution. I'm not saying it's the only solution, Richard, but I think it is a solution that bears fruit immediately.
Yes, and I think that's what the country needs in this time of peril, in this time of fear, when we're gripped with fear. What about, I mentioned earlier, before we got you on the line, I mentioned earlier that we are well equipped to have an expansion of our judicial system, perhaps specialist courts, night courts, bail courts, gun courts, and so on. Do you think that recommendation bears any fruit? Do you think there's anything we can add to that?
I think what we need to do is constitute a permanent criminal division at the High Court, staffed with a number of judges who are able to do, if you have, for instance, maybe 40 criminal assize courts sitting at the same time, and 40 cases are being done at the same time, on an average 2 per month, each court does 2 cases per month. You have 80 cases per month passing through the system at least. You can make a serious dent on the pending matters, the delayed matters.
So by implementing these two very brief solutions we've discussed, the ankle bracelets, we have a decrease in everyday crime, a real-life, real-time response to crime that the citizens can feel, and then we have a clearing of the backlog by implementation of that specialist division that you mentioned, the criminal division. Yeah, and therefore
yes, I think so.
Yeah, we can see real change in the criminal justice system.
You can see real and tangible and meaningful change, Richard.
Yeah.
Changing for changing's sake doesn't make sense, but the change must be tangible and must be real and must be meaningful.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Singh. Is there any closing comments?
I'm sorry, Richard, I didn't quite hear you there.
Is there any closing comments you want to make on the general overarching issues affecting our society and our country?
No, it's just that except to bemoan the state of Trinidad and Tobago as it has reached. And unless something drastic is done, we are on the verge of some kind of social collapse in this country.
Yeah, I know. In relation to the evidential burdens in the criminal justice system, such as DNA and so on, I know you have a lot to say on that. I know
that is another gathering storm, Richard. The gathering of scientific evidence and the approach to scientific evidence in this country, I think it's largely due to the lack of training, and there are some archaic laws, but that we will discuss at another time. But the DNA evidence and how DNA evidence is abused into evidence is a gathering storm in this country. When you look at the last judgment coming out of the Privy Council, the requirements that have been laid down in that judgment, I am not entirely sure that the DNA provider in this country, and I'm not going to call the company's name, but I'm not entirely sure that they are equipped to do what they are supposed to do under that act. And Richard, you were in the Sean Luke appeal with me, weren't you?
Yes, of course. And I wanted to get to that point. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because in that case, there was DNA evidence.
Correct. Yes.
I mean, it was not a point that we had to take to resolve the appeal in our favor, but it is a point in the Sean Luke case that when that case comes up for retrial, it's going to be very problematic for them to get that DNA evidence into evidence.
Yes. So there is serious concerns in this country. You call it a storm, a brewing storm.
It's a gathering storm.
And I think that's a brilliant way to sum up what we can expect in the coming months if this continues in our criminal justice system. I do thank you, Uncle Nazim.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Singh, it was nice speaking to you.
Very nice, my friend.
All right, Boy Jags, you take it easy, man.
Good to talk to you, Nazim. And Richard.
Yes, boss.
I used to be Nazim's captain when we worked together in Bamboo, you know.
Don't forget, you're dealing with the law, eh? And you have to tell the truth. I was the captain.
Good night, gentlemen. Have a good night. Thank you all very much.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, folks. So you had it live. All the facts about ankle bracelet and how it could address and play such a vital part in crime fighting. But I know the government will say that the opposition politicking again, because every time they speak now is that they're saying that they bring in politics into everything that the opposition is speaking about.
Yeah.
Everything they're saying. So I guess we will have to continue with that.
Yeah, and I wanna make it clear, what we've just discussed goes to the root of addressing failures in the criminal justice system. Failures of the TTPS to act within a legal framework that exists in today's society, a legal framework that is part of our laws. So there's nothing political about that. There is saving lives, which is not political. You can't make that a red issue or a yellow issue. There is actively promoting the safety and welfare of others. You can't make that a Balize issue or a Rising Sun issue. There is promoting the welfare of society and the welfare of children in society, and you cannot make that a Rowley issue or a Kamala issue. Correct. And that's all we've addressed. So you're correct. The sitting government can sit on their ivory towers and allege that certain people are politicking or politicking, as the case may be. But that is because they have failed for 9 years, and they try to smoke screen society, and they try to pull wool over people's eye, but that is not what we're addressing. If you're a failure, we'll call you out as a failure. If you're a success, we'll call you out as a success. And that is why, for example, I take no issue with judges, for example, receiving pay raise. I didn't mention it last time, but having thought about it from then to now, and having even raised it in jest with some judges over the last week, it seems appropriate that certain people should get a pay increase, but not the non-performers, not the persons who disappoint us, not the persons who decades from now we will look back and say what nonsense was that? For example, a Minister of National Security holding up a toy in the sky. You know? Let's go back to the SRC issue. So we were just going through some of the persons who are looking, who may receive a pay increase if this plan is adopted. Uncle Nazem and I have bets on this issue. I say the government of the day will accept it wholly. Uncle Nazem says they will not accept it. It's too close to an election, and so on. And surprisingly, the head of the government, the crown of the government, Prime Minister, has not commented on whether they are accepting it or not accepting it. They have not commented, but we have received confirmation from the leader of the opposition on the opposition's stance on it. And before I get another call on bias or non-bias, let me make the point. Before we hear the comments from the opposition leader herself, these are the only comments we have. We are eager to hear from the Prime Minister, because if it swings one way, Uncle Nazem wins the bet, and if it swings the other, then I win the bet. So we are eager to hear the comments of the cabinet and the head of the cabinet. But for now, all we have are the comments of the opposition leader. So let's hear those comments. Justin?
They have laid the 120th SRC report in the Parliament. There's been a lot of noise about it in the public domain because it gives to the Prime Minister his highest ever raise if he accepts it. This is the first time in the history of a country that the Prime Minister would be, if they accept that report, would be paying more than the President. So I'm watching and waiting to see what happens. But I will say this. I do not believe the Prime Minister should get an increase at this time. I do not believe the President should get an increase at this time. I do not believe that Kamla Prasad, Bisesa, opposition leader, should get an increase at this time. No. Now is not the time when you're offering people 1% and 2% and 4%. It is obscene. It is obscene. It is disrespectful at this time. However, I started about judges. The judges should be given the increases in the SRC report. The public servants should be given the increases in the SRC report. They're hard-working people. And if this is what has been assessed. But, you know, I want you to remember this. There is something also obscene for politicians to have the power to decide on their own salary increases. So that SRC report has to come to the Parliament, and guess what? The Prime Minister has a majority with his members. Does he say yes? You know, the media has been hounding me. What did I have to say? What do I have to say? I had said it before when they brought the 116 report, the one they brought before, and they sent it back saying things were wrong in it. From then I've been saying the politicians should not be given the increases at this time. But I fully agree that the judges should be given increases and the public servants and the various ministers. We are in agreement with that? Yes. Now is not the time. The time is not now. When I call on the Prime Minister to tell us what is his view on this report, I was at the press hounded me down what I had to say. Nobody never asked the Prime Minister what he had to say. We filed a question in Parliament on Prime Minister's question day. David Lee, I asked him, MP Lee, they rejected the question. The question was to ask Prime Minister, what is your view on this latest report? Everybody wants to know what Kamala has to say. Well, Kamala says no to the Prime Minister, no to the President, and no to Kamala. Not at this time. I thank you very much, and we support judges getting higher salaries. They are overworked and underpaid. And hello, the lawyers are overworked and underpaid too, by the way. Thank you very much, Saddam. Over to you.
Yeah. So like I said, I've thought about it and I've addressed it to some other persons in the profession and so on, and I even raised it in jest with some of the judges and their staff and so on. And it's true. It's true. When you look at their caseload, when you look at the judges' caseload and how the day is set up and how you have CMCs taking up the majority of the day and then you have trials, there's no time for them to write judgments. And it is true, they are overworked and underpaid. So, and the opposition leader said, public servants, those are the backbones of the ministry, and so on. And coming off of that, I want to compare it. Because the minimum wage now is $20.50 for employees who are in the private sector, and $22.50 for employees in the public sector. So let's quickly do the math. For 40-hour work week, employees in the private sector, $20.50. Putting up my calculator now. Working at 40 hours per week, 4 weeks, going home with $3,280. $3,280. That's minimum wage. Employees in the government sector receive $22.50 per hour. Normal work week, $3,600, $3,600. Who living on that? And then you have to deduct NIS and health surcharge. So the same person who's sitting in traffic every day and going to work in Port of Spain in one of those ministry buildings, they get $3,600 minimum wage. They're going to the same grocery as the Prime Minister, President, and opposition leader. They're going to the same gas station as the Prime Minister, President, and opposition leader. And they're paying the same price for gas. All of those persons paying the same price for gas. All of those persons paying the same price for bread, flour, rice, beans, oil.
All basic necessities.
Same price. Everybody paying the same price. But the person who's getting minimum wage has to make do with between $3,300 and $3,600 a month, and the Prime Minister goes up to, how much was it?
87.
87,000.
Over 87.
Look at that. Look at that big gap.
Plus, so he going close to over 100 with all his perks.
Exactly. And that's in the day and age of tighten your belt,
yes.
Tighten your belt, and tighten your belt again. That's in the day and age where port workers now operating on almost 10 years ago salary, after they was promised, after they signed agreement. That's in the day and age where nurses during COVID risked their lives without proper equipment, without proper masks, without proper sanitation stations, without gloves. Nurses, what compensation did we ever give the nurses for their time during COVID? Talking about $1 million plus in back pay, but you never give the nurses anything. They never give the nurses anything. When we get the calls, I want somebody who is a relative of a nurse, of a registered nurse in this country, to call and say, what's their monthly salary like? I want to compare it to someone who risked their lives during COVID to save us, someone who risked their lives to help us, the citizens. And even today, that's during COVID, but it's every day. It's every day. And I want to compare the average salary of a registered nurse in Trinidad and Tobago working those long shifts on their feet, walking one end of Mount Hope to the next end, or one end of San Fernando General to the next end, or Port of Spain General, as the case may be. I want to compare that person. I want to compare a port worker. I want to compare a teacher. I want to compare those individuals who are struggling to make ends meet, which is the everyday citizen, which is 80% of the population, to the suggested salaries of those failures in society. You know, guys, I gave you the picture. It's a picture with Dayal Singh. I was looking, before I made the point, I did a little research. I was looking to see what did nurses get at any point after COVID. This is what I got. April 15, 2024, they got a pan of biscuits from Minister, the great Terence Dayal Singh. A pan of biscuits. Poor nurse.
I mean, I wonder if they still have any remain from that.
Well, from April to now, you think it still have biscuit? From April to now, you think it still have biscuit? The biscuit done, Dayal Singh time as minister done. You're looking to replace all kind of thing. Nah, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. And I want, when we do open the lines, which is shortly, I really want to hear from the everyday persons. Because y'all will say I'm making up figures. You all will say, I don't know what you're talking about. I want to hear from every person who works in the private sector, the public sector. What's your average take home after taxes? How does that compare to the Prime Minister's $80,000? When you go to the grocery, how full is your trolley? What's the grocery bill like now?
But Richard, even this is something that happened to be live. I went yesterday at, my wife wanted Royal Castle. I said, right, no big thing.
No, you're eating rich.
So I went Royal Castle. No, people in front of me, you will be surprised to know what they ordering, eh?
One piece of chicken.
One piece.
Yeah.
People are buying 2 pieces and fries again.
Yeah.
It's 1 piece
Yeah.
combo. That's a lot of mercy.
You have to work, look at it this way. You have to work 2 hours on minimum wage to get a 2-piece and fries.
Yes.
You have to, so 2 hours of your life, 2 hours of your life must be used to buy lunch. You understand? Because a 2-piece and fries is $45.
Yeah, about $40.
With a drink.
$45,
Yeah. So you have to work, and minimum wage is $20. So you have to work 2 hours for a 2-piece and fries. So I'm not surprised.
And you know, they're very quietly saying, a 1-piece and fries.
Yeah.
You know, you go by the counter, you say, give me a snack box. You're shouting, man, you're big.
Yeah.
They whisper in, 1-piece and fries.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And that's where we live. And that's the society we live in. And we have, well, I mentioned the Commissioner of Police, but you raise an interesting point. Both ministers of national security, they will also get a pay increase. The Minister of National Security will get a higher increase than the Minister of Coal Pot.
But that's why they're not supposed to take this. In the first instance, the Minister of National Security, he should take a decrease in salary. He should get a cut in salary.
Yeah.
What has he done? And do you know the constituency is supporting him to go back now?
All of a sudden?
Remember they had a vote of where they had a vote and they
had a voter write off the vote and some kind of logic.
So the constituency now say they want Hines.
Yeah. What's going on with PNM internal election? They make up their mind about that?
Nah,
I know it move and then it come back and then they move again.
No, well, you see, I think they're waiting for Foster Cummins court case matter to clear up first.
You see, I don't know anything about Foster Cummins and his court case matter.
You remember he wanted it to pull forward, but he had to wait in line.
I don't know any. You see,
So he's vying for leadership.
You see, I don't know, I don't have a red card nor a yellow card in my pocket. I don't know anything about what's going on in Balize House.
Boy.
Other than how much they spent for AC.
How much is spent for AC?
How much it was? 12 something million. Something million.
Well, that is the greatest achievement Rowley made since he come in office.
No. He said the greatest achievement he ever made was removing Gary Griffith. He said that. He said that.
Patrick Manning has the waterfront,
Yes.
right? Rowley want to make sure he have Balize House. He had nothing else to show. So he will say he built Balize House.
Yes. I think, guys, we're coming up to the top of the hour. Let's take a short break.
I will take calls.
And then when we open back the line, and we'll come back in, we'll open back the lines and take calls.
Correct.
Yeah? Let's do that. Let's take our second break.
The power. To shatter the strongest. Conquer the indestructible with Ronex collection of angle grinders. Ronix Premium Quality.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors, and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose, and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 4808-715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisho Limited, quality you can trust.
Mitsu Air Limited, authorized Mitsubishi air conditioning dealer. No need to replace your air conditioning units ever so often. Split units, cassette, ductable, CTVIF systems, and much more. Mitsubishi Electric has long been powering industries and providing solutions for healthy living. Mitsu Air Limited boasts the industry's first 10-year warranty on all parts and labor. Inverter units are also available. Don't hear it, just feel it. Mitsu Air Limited, 246 Eastern Main Road, Barataria. Give us a call at 674-4000 or 675-4000 or email us at mitsu.limited@gmail.com.
Hello, good night, everyone. We're back with Uncle Nazim and myself, Richard Jagasatinatlo, and we were just discussing the SRC and issue the potential salary increase and the great chasm, the great gap. Let's call it the great gap, the great economic gap between the everyday citizen of Trinidad and Tobago and those in power. And while we were talking, I think Uncle Nazim got a message from one of our viewers with a snippet of what appears to be a news, looks like CNC3, of the leader of government business, Ms. Camille Robinson Regis, speaking about the SRC's proposal. And let me just tell you what she says. This is straight live from Uncle Nazim's phone. Israel beat this up, boy. And I'm going to just repeat as I hear it. You know, make that your wallpaper now. Nobody will ever steal your phone. The best wallpaper to make sure nobody ever wants to steal your phone.
You want to give my grandchildren nightmares?
I'm going to just repeat what she says. She says,
salaries are adjusted. It is a large number of people in the public service.
if you have stolen from the public coffers, you don't need a wage increase.
And she
If you have stolen from the public coffers, you don't need a wage increase.
and she was referring to the opposition leader.
Leader of government business, what do you mean by that? Leader of government business, what are you saying in that statement? If anybody knows her, if anybody could call her, link her to our studio, please. Call us. We would like to clarify what that statement means.
Yes, of course. And I'm sure our viewers will give us the answer.
Which one of those persons under that list, chief magistrate, judge, police complaints authority, director, commissioner of police, and so on that long list of individuals, which one there, who there on that list stole from the public coffers, or which one on that long list allegedly, you are alleging, stole from the public coffers?
So what she's saying, that is, if the opposition leader do accept it, she stole from the coffers, right?
You saying that, you know.
Right, okay.
I
what about-
just like to put the witness in the box and ask the witness.
So what about if the Prime Minister come out now and said they reject that?
Well, and you play back that video.
So he stole from the coffers, so he don't want
you
it.
see where you're starting.
So we back.
You see where you're starting.
So they were, that she indirectly saying that they will accept the increase.
You see what you're saying. Now, we have a call on the line. We'll continue this in a minute. Good night, caller. You're live on Breaking Barriers. I'm Richard Jagasa, and this is Uncle Nazim with his wild accusations and insinuations.
Hello, good night.
A very good evening, Uncle Nazim. Now I know it's Uncle Nazim and Richard.
Yeah, hi. Good night, caller.
Yes, so the man will accept the money. No two ways about it because
Go win the
he will
bet.
like the money slipping out. That is one. Two, I cannot understand why there must be a non-disclosure agreement where the taxpayers' money and businesses concerned. These people are working for us, the taxpayers, and that Dragon Oil deal. There should never be at all, at no time, a non-disclosure agreement. We have to know what you're doing with our money. All the best. Have a great evening.
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I agree with you, caller.
Yes, absolutely correct. Not only we have to know the foundation of the FOIA, would you believe it? The foundation of the FOIA is to increase public confidence, to increase transparency, to increase democracy and public involvement in, guess what? Public accounts and public spending. That was the genesis of the FOIA. That was when they debated it in Parliament, when the act was piloted by Ramesh Maharaj, then Attorney General. That was exactly the thinking, caller, so that the regular man, that the everyday man, what we call in law, the man on the omnibus, the man, well, in this case, the man on the PTSD bus, will know where the money is going. Caller, you're live. Good night, caller. You're live on Breaking Barriers.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
What do you think about the Corporation Week, the Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation Week, they call it?
What? Corporation Week, you said?
Yeah.
But this is the first time I hear they have a Corporation Week.
That's the first time we're hearing that too.
So Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation has something called a Corporation Week?
Yes, a Corporation Week. So you already know about that take place?
But I live within the Tunapuna Piako Regional Corporation, and this is the first time hearing of it.
Yeah, Tunapuna Corporation Week, they call it. They can't pay traveling allowance. They can't buy tools for the workers. But they spend millions of dollars from last Sunday to this Sunday going there. They call it Corporation Week.
And what they do in Corporation Week?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. What they do? How they spend $1 million?
Well, they had a parade from Constantine Park to the Pantent, Exodus Pantent, last week Sunday. They had a cookout on Friday gone, which they tell all the employees that to report to Constantine Park to get pay.
To get pay?
To get pay. I have a document from the chairman of the corporation, a letter. I will send it for you all.
That's good, man. We could take that.
But this is just to show you, they can't buy tools. They say they have no money to do nothing, to see about the workers, but they spend X amount of money for Corporation Week. First time in history you hear about Corporation Week.
Yeah. All right, caller. We look into it and we look forward to seeing our documents. We do have another caller on the line. Thank you so much.
Hello.
That's interesting. We look into that, man.
Yeah.
Hello, good night, caller. You're live.
Good night.
Good night.
Could you answer me question of which are the arm of the state appoint this salary review commission members?
That's
and what are the professional standpoint? Are they involved in auditing or anything in the country? You could tell us something about it. Thank you, sir.
Yes, we'll do better than that. We'll get a copy of the report, we'll get a copy of the members, and we'll disclose it. Yes. Thank you so much for that, caller. Yeah, we have another one on the line.
Hello, good night.
I'm still waiting to hear from a registered nurse, also a family member
hello,
of a
good
registered
night.
nurse. Hello, good night.
Yeah, Richard. Good night. Nazim, good night.
Yeah, man, good night.
Just three things I want to bring to their attention here. Boy. I don't know if I can help me try to understand what's going on now. You spend $40 million to build a library in La Joqueta, right? Nobody can get a road paved. You build a library in La Joqueta costing $40 million. Who does use a library today, right? Anyone, right?
I tell you, everybody have their laptop. They're going to their laptop and...
I don't know. I just asking a question here, right? Richard, the FIU, the director of the FIU, right? Telling you you can't buy US from no family that's coming into the country and everything. The FIU's role is to check any kind of monetary transactions, right? All right, Toro?
Yeah, any questionable... Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Now, my question is, it was made public by the Auditor General that 2.6 billion missing from the public, the taxpayers' money. They can't account for it. The FIU ain't come out and say nothing on that. Nobody ain't saying nothing on that. The commissioner said, everybody silent, you know. Nobody ain't saying nothing. But your aunt or your uncle coming on from away and no one sell you 200 US. You have a problem with that.
Yeah, they're studying the wrong thing. They're studying the wrong...
questions here, you know. And the last thing I want to talk about is the woman they called the Lagoon Lady. You know who's that? Right. Camille Robinson Regis. Any woman who say everybody down in South live in a lagoon who get flooded a couple of years ago?
Nah, I think the woman who said that was Chris Lowe, I think.
Nah, it was she herself.
Was Regis?
But here it is. Anyhow, beside that point, right? I want to try and figure out something here, right? She come out and make that statement there and saying that's how if you don't need a raise, pay and whatever and thing, right? Who is the person that went to the bank with 100,000 pound bag and couldn't account for that? I don't know, that was in the newspaper a couple of years ago. And the last thing I want to say, right, is on that she government, she finance minister still can't account for 2.6 billion. They commented talk about steeping this and so on. Anyhow, fellas, I'll enjoy your night.
Okay, cool, man.
Thanks for those comments, caller. We try and move quick this time because...
Quick.
Yeah.
Hello, good evening. Hello?
Yes, hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hi, caller, you're live. You're live on Breaking Barriers.
Okay, I'm hearing you, Richard. What I wanted to say is apparently all the regional corporations and all the boroughs and the
they had borough day.
Corporations that's been controlled by the PNM. Every so often you're seeing a Juve celebration. Every couple months there's some sort of Juve celebration. And nobody seems to know when it is. It's just going down the road, San Fernando, all the streets blocked, Juve celebration. You're going to point, Juve celebration. Why is this happening? Are they riling up the people for election? Is it that
Definitely. Because in Diego Martin, they had one recently too. They had a borrow day in Diego Martin.
Exactly. So, and any other occasion come up, there's no funding for it. So you're blatantly seeing discrimination. A couple days ago, there was flood in DB, Penal. People had trucks and boats and all kind of thing moving around. There's a couple days ago, there's a flood in DB. CPEP cleaning up like crazy. But the people in South Trinidad responsible for cleaning themselves, you've seen it blatantly that this government discriminates against the people in South and Central. And if nobody wants to stand up and say anything, then some people have to stand and point it out.
Exactly.
Because whenever we down on the side say something, is we always racist or we always anti-PNM or something to that effect. You know, I believe that the people, reasonable thinking people, tax-paying people, need to stand up and let themselves be counted. Don't be afraid to say what you have to say when you see discrimination. Say it and say it out loud.
I agree with you, Colin. Yeah, man. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it is something. If they are really having those borough celebrations, those corporation celebrations in a particular area, maybe somebody should file a FOIA and get how much money was spent on those things
where the funding came from,
and how frequently that is happening, and for what benefit is that to society. I mean, in this day and age, I think it would be better to clean a drain, fix a road, than the water issue in this country.
Well, that's a situation by itself.
Yeah. All right, guys, our phone lines are open. You want to take another break? I think we have one more set of ads that we have to run, and then we can come back and take our last few callers. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's take another break, guys.
The power. To shatter the strongest. Conquer the indestructible with Ronex collection of angle grinders. Ronex premium quality.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors, and roti makers. Try our high-quality bromate-free, all-purpose, and whole wheat flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg, and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisho Limited at 665-3336 or 480-8715 or visit us at Warrenville, Canoopia. Shiklisho Limited. Quality you can trust.
Okay, welcome back, folks. Richard, so what we have on Gear Up now?
Well, remember, guys, our call lines are open. Oh, God, we have one. We was going to do a kind of magic day. We was going to try and make minimum wage work. We were going to try to make the impossible happen. Quite good night, caller, you're live.
Hello? Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Hi,
Thanks for having me on the program. My take on the situation with Paria, with Mr. Peterson, Gilbert Peterson, being senior counsel, paid this $8.9 million for representation. I mean, that is highly unethical. The problem I have with that is he is the chairman of TACT, Telecommunications Authority, And why is it that he was called to the fore to represent Paria if he's sitting on a state board, right? Is there supposed to be some kind of ethical lines when it pertains to attorneys representing? Yes? So these are questions, when coming to the public first, that's supposed to be coming to the fore, right? And there's a serious issue of infringement with ethics regarding that. Thank you.
Thanks, caller, for those comments. All right, so how much you think an average, let me say, a manager or a turncock or somebody in Wassa does make?
Well, I know I live in 2013, right? And they got an increase after. So I'll probably see a turncock will probably get between 8,000 and 9,000. Let me leave it, let's say 9,000.
Let me use the higher end of the spectrum, right? $9,000. Calculator on my phone. $9,000. After that, you have to pay. Let me just assume that it's after all taxes and things. It's not, but let me just assume.
Yeah.
Right? $9,000. Let me minus some expenses. You have.
Let me go with groceries.
Groceries. Family of 2. He now get a girlfriend.
Right.
Living together.
Single, no children.
No. Yeah, just 2 of them alone.
All right.
We make it easy.
I will still say about 3,000.
2,500 for groceries. Where we go again? Let's go bills. Let's go gas. Gas. You have a diesel vehicle.
Right.
You driving to and from work. You living somewhere reasonable.
You have to go and pick up the wife sometimes. We have to drop her. Let's say about 1,000, 1,200 for the month.
In gas.
Yeah.
All right, no problem. All right, let's go again. It brings you down to 5,300.
Right.
So you have
light bill,
phone bill,
internet,
like all those bills. Let's just say
total. Let's say about 1,500.
About 1,500. My phone bill and internet bill is the highest for the month. I think about 2,000. About 2,000.
All right.
All right, 2,000 for all. No, we lump in all of the bills together. A global figure, right? What we leave out so far? We leave out Wassa bill.
That is, you could say 240 for Wassa bill.
Quarterly. All right.
And that is quarterly.
Yeah, we can leave it out. All right. And did we do, well, if you're working Port of Spain, you're paying for parking, but we'll leave out that. Maintenance of the vehicle and so on. Let's say what, $500?
Yeah, because you're going to have to spend money every month.
Every month, correct. And then last thing I think we want to discount now is, let's say, we wouldn't say you have a mortgage and a car loan. Let's say you have one.
Right.
You have one. And what's a reasonable figure to deduct for that?
I say about a 1,500.
About a 1,500. What you're left with is $1,300 to live on. $1,300 after you buy the basic necessities in the grocery.
I think we leave out one item.
You had to take the girl out for a little date.
Beside that, what about if he's renting?
Well, okay, all right. Well, no, when we boss.
And no rent.
Well, we boss.
You get a new apartment for less than $2,000.
Your boss.
Less than $2,000.
Your boss. And you know.
Wait, we have a call anyway.
Yeah, and before we take the call, I just want to make the point. While we have to deduct here phone bill and so on, and something for entertainment and so on, we didn't do anything for clothes, you know? No. We didn't do anything for those things. But while we have to deduct those things, those guys at the top of the food chain, they receive allowances for those things, you know.
Free gas.
Free maintenance for car in the case of the new CEO for Wassa, for example. Let's go to the caller. Hi, good night, caller.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good night, sir.
We even check anything for Pennywise, a little soap, deodorant, nothing.
Hello? Yeah, you can go ahead.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Nazem?
Yes.
You know Makoya Road, right?
Yes, Makoya Road.
Right, okay. I have a house next door to the Porter Security here. The man have the place in abandoned. They have a lot of snakes, cockroaches, and it's a mosquito invasion place. I don't know if you can pass and send somebody tomorrow and let them have a look at this place.
It is
between Porter Security.
It is on Makoya Road itself?
Yeah, right. This is when you come for the gas station closed down.
Yes.
Right. As you come in there, you go see you go see Porter Security next door to it. You go see what is a bush higher than the house.
All right. Well, I pass through that area, so that is not a problem. You'll probably see it Wednesday next week.
Okay, right. You Mr. Nazem?
That's correct.
Okay. And you have a next problem too.
What's that?
The people are throwing a lot of rubbish on the road. And the truck time don't pick it up. They even see tire and all kind of thing on the road now.
Yeah, but who is doing that? The citizens, right?
But I don't know who doing it because when I get up in the morning, you see all kind of rubbish. Looking for them, I hope you see rubbish and things in front of the house right now.
Yeah, well, you see, what we have to take some of the blame for that, because almost sure there are days when the open tray truck will tell you, put out your garbage, they will be passing. As a matter of fact, that's stipulated days they pass. So if you put out your garbage on those days, I'm almost sure they will take it up. So people just do indiscriminate dumping, and then, you see, Christmas time coming, old stove outside, new stove coming in. So all these things you have to make up your mind for. But
if you could check out the house where I had set a bush, I'll be very thankful for it.
yeah, no problem. I'll pass and take a shot of it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay then,
Okay,
thanks very much.
yeah. Thanks, man.
All right, we have another caller to take. Good night, caller. You're live.
Hello, good night. Hello?
Good night. Yes, good night.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Rachel.
Hi, good night. Yes.
Gentlemen, something I wanted to discuss with you all. I have noticed that all the unions, no one never tried to march against this pay rise. None of them. And I wonder why. I wonder why none of them thinking about marching like how they normally do. I remember when Basdev Pandey was in power, Jennifer Baptiste marching up and down the place, up and down. When Kamla in power, Roger dragging the mannequin right through the town. Right through the town, he dragging that mannequin. And everybody marching all the time. But now with this present situation here, none of the union, none of them marching to get any increase. I wonder why.
Well, let's see if the government accepts the increase, if they will then get their voices to go and march. Let's wait and see. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so let me give it a little time, because you know most of these union leaders, they affiliated, well, this is my point of view, to a particular party. So as it stands, they will support their party to the detriment of their membership.
But this is what I was looking at. Maybe they are waiting on when Kamala gets in power.
Exactly
then all the
so.
will start.
That is so true. So let's just wait and see, right?
Okay then, thank you.
Yeah, man. So that is true, you know. Most of them union leaders, they used to be marching, everybody marching. Like they lose their feet right now.
You know, well, if they accept this status quo, they're doing something I will not do. I will not stand for this current for this current status quo. And it's just simple, you know. You just want betterment for society, increase in welfare, increase in care for citizens, increase in the healthcare system and so on, the criminal justice system, increase detection rate in crime and so on. And we were going at it. We were checking the price comparison. We got to 1,300.
We didn't take out for rent.
And we didn't take out for rent, and we didn't take out for Pennywise.
You're owing. And that's 9,000.
Can't even buy a little bread and chana, you know, can't buy...
A little grilliant.
It tastes real good, eh? If there's one thing, Korean food tastes real good. You take that shrimp pasta and you lace that with pepper, good, you can eat that 2 or 3 times, you know.
Good, man, good.
You know, no, it's absolutely ridiculous. And if it was this situation because of hardships that were thrust upon us as a nation, maybe I would have been a little bit more understanding. If there was absolutely nothing we could do, no resources that we could use to our benefit, maybe I would have been a little more understanding. But it is ridiculous that we live in a country so rich with oil, live in a country rich with the potential of agriculture export, live in a country with the potential of human resource. I mean, we have some of the smartest people in the world here. And we live in this utopia, and we're wasted away by just a handful of people who are so far ahead of us with such fat pockets that they forget the rest of us. And that is what I cannot stand. I cannot stand it. And you have to compare yourself. And the fact that when you go to the grocery, you buying beans, red beans, and so on in little small bags.
That is what the grocery do now. Small portions. We have a call on the line. Hello, good evening. Hello?
Hello, good night.
Hi, good night.
Gentlemen, good night. I would like to make a comment. 2 calls down, a gentleman spoke about the flooding in South as compared to Diego Martin.
Yeah.
What I saw very blatant is geographical discrimination. Because our family's home was flooded years ago, and I can tell you it is a very traumatic experience. In fact, one of my brothers, he has never recovered from it. And if every year you have to experience this and have to clean for yourself, no help was given. And when I saw in Diego Martin, the CPEP workers worked, I mean, I commend, I'm happy for them, don't get me wrong. People need help when they are going through this. And when I saw the barcodes and so on, I'm saying it is so blatant, this sort of discrimination. It's wrong because all of us pay taxes. So that's one point. And that needs to change. That needs to change. And I hope whenever the election bell is called that people make that change by voting wisely. The second point, gentlemen, I would consider myself a senior public servant, and I can tell you I live paycheck by paycheck.
There we go.
There is nothing remaining after you pay your bills. And I have noticed something in the grocery that I go to every time. You know, by the cashiers, if your money run out, you will put back some items.
Yes.
I have noticed people by the cashier, and when they scan a few items, they will say, how much is it? How much is it? They will keep asking because they are not sure they will have enough. And I am seeing items by the cashier on a regular basis, and that tells me something. It tells me that people do not have. And I am calling tonight on those in authority, Prime Minister, your ministers. You all are not living in reality. You don't have an idea of what people have to face on a daily basis. Simple things like sugar, butter, oil, the basics. People cannot afford it. And one more point before I leave. I was recently shocked by something. I forgot to buy sugar, and I went in our nearby grocery mini-mart to buy sugar, and I didn't see the brand that I normally buy, Mabel, right? And the gentleman said, how much you want? And I said, I want a pack. He said, well, no, we actually, what they do now, Richard, they have the sugar in like 1 pound.
Small bags, yes. How much for a 1 pound bag of sugar?
All
$5?
Cannot afford, and that is the reality. And I am calling on people of this nation, please, enough is enough. Talk to your God. I know we are praying people, and you know what is going on in this country is absolutely insane. It's about time we wake up and we let them know that this is not enough is enough. So
Caller, before you go, caller. Hello?
Yes. Yes?
Don't you think the government is well aware of the hardships the citizens are going through?
It's because they just don't care.
Exactly. They just don't care, and people not seeing that. They just don't care.
So we have to care for each other. So the people in Diego Martin, please start caring for those in South. And people in South, we have to start caring for each other. And that's the only way we're going to get rid of this evil. And I have to say it is evil. Because you cannot be asking for a raise in salary when you know the everyday man is catching his nenen. You know, I am so It's a holy indignation I have right now in my blood, and I am fed up of it.
When pensioners waiting years to collect their pension, years
The
to collect
gratuity
their,
after they resign to
Yes.
collect their gratuity is a
Yes.
problem.
Yes.
Well, trust me, I have a lot to say about that too, because after you have given your youthful years to the service, they treat you, it is so painful. I know many people like that, and I can tell you it is a very painful thing when you have to now go running here, there, and everywhere, begging, pleading to get your gratuity. So listen, I used to get upset with Philip Alexander when he would mention and say, this place is a S-hole, right? You know what I'm saying? But now I understand why this gentleman says it like this, because it's like nowhere it is working properly. None of the ministries, if everything is like a headache, you want this, it's a headache. You want to get that, it's a headache. So it's like none of the ministries are working, people. None of the ministries. And we deserve better than this.
Yes,
you and I and members of the public, anybody listening to my voice, we deserve better than this. Right? So God bless you all. Keep on doing the good work that you're doing. Okay, good night.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kola.
Thank you so much for that.
Kola was so right.
Absolutely hit the nail on the head. Living paycheck to paycheck is the average citizen, is the majority of persons in this country. Living paycheck to paycheck is literally every person's current status. So guys, we have to wrap up. I thank everybody for watching tonight. We're on every Wednesday from 8 to 9:30. We rerun as well, right? We rerun on Sundays.
On a Saturday, I think.
We rerun and then we're live.
But before you close off, Richard, I think I want to ask a request of you. Let's see if we can get all the vehicles that were purchased by ministers, MPs, whatsoever.
Yes.
To this point, let's see how often they change their vehicles, because they're getting every 2 years they could change their vehicles. So they have a car business going on.
Right.
So let's see if we could get that information to see how often they change their vehicles. And why is it that, like when they're selling the Prados and those high-end vehicles, based on what they pay for it, the ministries will have that record. Why these vehicles cannot go back to other ministries instead of they selling it outside to the public?
Yeah.
At a minimum below the cost that they paid for it.
Yeah.
Why we can't do that?
Yeah, because it's because of the tax break that they were allowed to bring in.
And they don't use their vehicles because they're using vehicles that belong to the ministries.
Yeah, I follow you. So yes, that is something we can look in and spend an entire show on. Yeah. So guys, the IT team is yelling at me here. We have to close off.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for calling in. We really appreciate it. We're welcomed every Wednesday night on Breaking Barriers. We are live on YouTube and Facebook as well, Breaking Barriers Live, and 8 to 9:30. And let's get this ball rolling. Nicola is absolutely right. Just now is election. Uncle Nazim is absolutely right. It's coming. And I mean, let's just get the conversation started. I'm not telling you who to vote for and what to do. Let's just get the conversation started on asking for a better TNT. Come on, man.
Correct. Better TNT. I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So we will see you next week, Wednesday.
Of course.
So good night.
Good night, everybody.